Okay, well, we're talking to Paul Evers and Ken Morris from Obselidia.
Mm-hmm.
An eccentric spelling for an eccentric film,
Yeah,
right?
that's an accurate statement.
Now, Ken, I know you have hometown Dallas roots.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your...
I was raised in Dallas proper for about I'd say like 13 years, and then my family moved up to McKinney my sophomore year of high school, and I went to school for college at SMU just down the street, and I didn't move out to LA for I guess till about 2 years ago. So the majority of my life has been here, and so it's neat to come back to Dallas International Film Festival, being from Dallas.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Paul?
I'm pretty much the same. I was born here, and I was born in College Station, actually. I've lived here pretty much my entire life. Moved out to LA right after high school, and met this crazy guy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's great to be back here.
And we actually went to high school together.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Disconnected for a while, and then met back up when I moved out to LA. So it's sort of the circle of life, if you will.
Yeah.
Great.
Now, when we first started conversing by email,
Mm-hmm.
Ken, you told me that a lot of dreams had come true by way of Obselidia,
Mm-hmm.
yours included. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
You know, my initially when I started, I guess not Obselidia, but in high school, I'd always wanted to be an actor. And it wasn't until I auditioned for an acting school and didn't get in that I realized that I thought I'd go the film route and see if I couldn't come in through a back door. And I realized how much I enjoyed filmmaking. And it's hard as a student to make anything of substance beyond a student film. You know, there's a lot of great student films, but they're always student films. And Obselidia was the very first professional feature that I worked on. And that's something that I always dreamed of, is, it'd be great to work on a movie that you see at the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that Obselidia came to fruition it was like a dream come true. It was an amazing experience where I met amazing people and did what I dreamed to do, and that's make film.
That's great. So how'd you make the acquaintance of Diane Bell, the director and writer of the film?
Diane and I met through Craigslist, which it surprises a lot of people, but given the way Obselidia was born, it's very much a sort of a grassroots sort of film, and so a lot of it was people that we had met and just had a certain energy, and I've known Paul through high school, and so that's why I asked him to be a part of the project. It was it was based on the energy between people, and I don't think Craigslist would work for every film. You know, it's at some point you do have to recognize that Craigslist has a lot of, I guess you could say, it's got a lot of trash, and you have to sort through the trash before you find something of substance. And I think we lucked out that we met the people that we did through that. I'd say I'm not one of the trash.
Right. Well, we trust that anyway.
Yeah. Hey, we're here. We got the
Judging
festival
by
stuff.
the evidence, yeah. So aside from putting the film in the can, for both of you guys, what was the most fun part of the production?
The desert.
Desert?
The desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spending 10 days in the desert was probably, I would say, it was probably the most amazing experience of my life.
We shot both in Los Angeles and in just near Death Valley, and so it was an 18-day shoot, 10 of which were out in Death Valley, or 8 days. But the location was so remote that a portion of the crew stayed in town, but there weren't enough hotel rooms. So those that wanted to camped, and we camped. Diane, the director, camped, and a few others. And there wasn't any running water. There was we just brought bottled water. There wasn't any electricity. There wasn't any cell phone, and it was great to just step back from this technological world and really just live in the desert like some of the characters in the movie.
So it was pretty much a green set from this. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We recycled the bottles. A lot of the stuff that we had was recycled, because you can earn money back in California by taking all your plastic.
Yeah.
And so we let one of the PAs take all the recycling. He collected, God, it must have been like 50 bags worth of stuff. Cause,
Wow.
it's a big, you have a film set, you got 30 people drinking water, and so he took all that, and we were joking that that's part of his payment is plastic bottles.
Cool. So you mentioned the desert. What time of year was the filming? Did it ever get really hot?
Yeah, incredible hot. I think the highest was like 110 maybe.
110?
Like,
Yeah, that's pretty hot.
We shot in April, which is not the hot season. It's sort of the between. Death Valley actually gets very cold in wintertime, below freezing, and it gets very hot in summertime because it's that's the nature of the desert. So still, during the days it was usually over 100, and at night it was probably in the 40s or 50s. I mean, there were a few warm nights where it was still like in the 80s and 90s. But I'd say it was cold at night and hot during the day, so you can never really pick, what you wanted.
Well, thank goodness you didn't do it in midsummer. It wouldn't have worked, right?
Yeah, that
I don't know. That would have been wild.
Yeah. So did you both get in on the casting process, and how did that
I since I produced it, I was involved in the casting process, and again, it was a lot of pre-existing relationships. The project really did have this sort of magnetic effect that drew certain people to it, and so casting wasn't really a difficult process. It was usually like the first or second person that we met that just seemed to fit for the roles. Gaynor Howe is she plays Sophie, and she's good friends with Diane, and she was the first actress that we considered, and subsequently the last actress we considered, because she was just sort of, dare I say, perfect for the role.
Yeah.
And Michael Piccirilli played George, and again I think he was the second one that we had met, but again it was just that energy, that magic just sort of clicked, and it really didn't require a long casting process.
Well, either by accident or design, and you can tell me, both the leads have a kind of a British accent, although one's Australian, but to a Texan it sounds British. So
Yeah.
how did that work, the dynamic? Did it change anything?
We had a discussion, Diane, Mike, and the production team as to whether or not George would be American or Australian, and Diane ultimately decided, and I supported the decision to let them speak in their natural accents, because the U.S. has a certain foreigners expect a certain thing from the U.S. and it affects their perspective, and I think that contributed to George's character as well as Sophie's character. We're born in Texas, born in the U.S., and so we've never not been American, but people from Europe, people from outside, have a different view, and it's a different understanding. And I think that was important to get that across in the characters.
So was Al Gore a consultant on the film?
I wish. It's a lot of what the character of Lewis, the scientist out in the desert, that's based on I think James Lovelock, loosely. A lot of what James Lovelock, the real climate scientist, says finds its way into the character of Lewis. So no, Al Gore wasn't involved, but if he's out there and he wants to help us out, we'll take an endorsement.
Yeah, well, the film, of course, has the environmental statement side, but you did a lot Diane did a lot to blend it in with the narrative, and I think it stays in the background nicely, and it's just part of the story instead of being a hammer on your head part of the story. So that's great. So what are distribution plans for the film?
We do have someone interested in purchasing the film. The details of which I can't discuss, but there's a good likelihood that you'll be able to see it at a local theater chain. When we made the film, the first goal was to make it well, and then now the next step is selling it to someone that can find the right outlets. It's not a blockbuster type film, but I think there's a lot of people that like this kind of movie, and I think there's a wide audience that would enjoy it. So.
Right. All Are there new projects you're working on you'd like to tell us about?
You want to talk about orphans or lineages? We've over the course of this, we've decided to write together. You know, we both have a lot of great ideas and seem to work well as a team. So we wrote a film called Blood Oranges, which should be going into production pretty soon. And then also a film called 12 Mighty Orphans, which should be going into production pretty soon. I think the announcement is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you're now going on full creative mode instead of producing, right?
Yeah.
It's writing. I don't know about for you, but writing seems to be my.
It's my passion.
I love producing and I do want to get into directing, but writing seems to be almost like a way for me to explore the inner reaches of my mind. You know, I've noticed through our writing, it really does show what we're feeling at the time, what we're experiencing. And
it's like therapy.
Yeah, that's our therapy.
Yeah.
Is writing. You know, sitting down and knocking out a screenplay.
Yeah.
So, have you seen any other films while you've been out here at the festival? And tell me what you like.
We saw Wasteland, which was showing at Sundance, and we didn't get a chance to see it at Sundance.
It was sold out at Sundance.
And we got a chance to see it here, and I loved that movie. It was probably one of my favorites. It's a documentary.
It's really powerful. It's one that really does bring tears to your eye, not because it's sad, but because it's got such a strong human element. And I think that's what a lot of people want to see nowadays is a real human aspect. I think that's one of the successes of Obselidia is it makes the climate discussion, it makes it human, you know, or it makes the discussion of obsolescence human. You know, you see it through a person, not through things.
Well, Paul and Ken, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
And have fun at the rest of your stay here at the festival.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.